In this video, we're simply solving for x. What that means is we want our answer in the format x is equal to some answer, some term. In this case, it's going to be a number term because we have no other unknowns or other variables, okay? But that's what we're looking for. Our answer is going to be in the form x equals something. Okay, so that means we need to isolate the x. That means we need to get rid of any other terms that might be on the same side of the equal sign as the x. Okay, so in this case, we do have another term, right? On this left-hand side where we have our x, we also have this plus 5. Okay, so in order to get rid of that or move that to the other side of the equal sign, we need to perform the opposite operation. Okay, so here we have a plus 5. So what we want is a subtract 5. Now, subtract 5 or minus 5 is the same thing as saying plus negative 5. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to add a negative 5. Now, we can't just add negative 5 to one side of our equation. Okay, if we do that, we change the equation. It's a different equation than what we started. That's not what we're interested in doing. Okay, we're trying to solve the original equation. So if we add a negative 5 to one side of the equation, we need to add a negative 5 to the other side of the equation too. Okay, so now we can go ahead and simplify, and we're going to start by simplifying like terms. Okay, so we've got these two number terms, this negative 5, this positive 5. We're going to combine this, so negative 5 plus 5 is simply 0. That's good. That's what we wanted. And we're left with just this term, this plus negative x, which is just the same thing as negative x, right? So we can just write that as negative x. If you're not sure, you can multiply these two signs, right? A positive times a negative is always going to be a negative, okay? When the signs are different, the answer is always negative, okay? Whether it's plus times negative or negative times positive, okay? Doesn't matter the order. Okay, so we're left with this negative x, and that's going to be equal to our right-hand side, which is 15 plus negative 5. Well, 15 plus negative 5 is just simply 10. But wait, we've not solved this problem, have we? Because we're not looking for what negative x is equal to. What we're looking for is what x is equal to, and that's x is the same thing as saying positive x, okay? But we don't have that, we have a negative. So we need to do one more thing. We need to move this sign, okay? Similar to how we moved the term. So if we have a negative on this side, if we were to multiply this by another negative, right? A negative times a negative is a positive. Two signs that are the same multiplied by each other is always a positive. So a negative times a negative is a positive, and that would give us positive x. That's what we want, right? We just want x. But if we multiply one side of the equation by a negative, we have to do the same thing to the other. So we multiply the left-hand side by negative, we multiply the right-hand side. Negative times a positive is a negative, right? We found that out up here. So we simply have negative 10 then on the right-hand side. So let's go ahead and simplify this. Negative times negative is positive. That just leaves us with x. And that's equal to negative 10, which we'd already simplified. Okay, so there's our answer. X is equal to negative 10. Now there's just one last thing we need to do. In math, we have these things called math convention. It's just like math notation, the way we write things in math, the way we write our answers in math, okay? And that tells us that when we're solving for an unknown variable, like in this case x, we want our x to end up being on the left-hand side of the equal sign, and whatever it's equal to, in this case it's a number term, we want that to be on the right-hand side of the equal sign. Now when I look at my answer, the way it's written right now, I do have my x, my unknown, on the left-hand side of the equal sign, and I do have what it's equal to, in this case, negative 10, on the right-hand side of the equal sign. So I've already got my answer in the correct format, and the notation is right, okay? So I don't need to change anything. I'm just mentioning this to you because sometimes when we solve one of these problems, we do end up with our unknown on the right-hand side of the equal sign, okay? And yes, the answer is correct, but math convention tells us we want to move it, okay? In this case, we don't need to do anything though, and we have our answer, and it's simply x is equal to -10. If you would like to learn how to quickly study for your GED exam online and get a new resume, then visit testprepskills.com.